You become strong when no one tells you you are weak. The courage of little Leo. If you were to pass by those mountains, you might not notice it. It's on top of a hill, a little hidden among the trees. An old orphanage. From the outside, it looks like a forgotten building. Inside, it's a small suspended universe, made of long silences, gray walls that have seen more winters than smiles. And children who learn early not to ask for too much. There, the days all pass the same. Wake up, meals, forced quiet. No voice to console, no fairy tale whispered before bed. And the caresses, those two are dreamed of. Among those children, there was one named Leo. He was the smallest of all and was 7 years old. Small. Quiet. With big, dark eyes. He never cried. Not because he was strong, but because he understood that crying didn't change anything. He was the one who helped, who obeyed, who didn't create problems. Always present, but never noticed. Yet, every morning, he was the first to wake up. He would slowly go out, climb the hill behind the orphanage and watch the sunrise. In those moments, he felt like someone. Someone who one day, maybe, could make a difference. One morning, before the rainy season arrived, the director of the orphanage decided to send a small group into the forest to collect firewood. Winter was coming soon, and the warehouse was half empty. 5 children, all between the ages of 7 and 12, with one accompanying adult. Among them was also little Leo. As always at the back of the group. He walked in silence, with his light steps. He was still the one who didn't get noticed. But he was there. And so, with the others, he entered the forest. It was a quiet day at first. They cut dry branches, filled bags. Someone was singing. Someone was laughing. Even Leo, for a moment, seemed like just another child. Then suddenly the sky changed. The clouds came rushing in, as if pushed by something. The wind began to shake the trees. Thunder cracked the air. Loud. Sudden. Too close. We have to go back right away. The adults shouted. They quickly gathered everything and ran towards the path back. But when they arrived, the path was gone. A landslide had swept away everything. Mud, fallen trees, broken earth, like a wall in front of them. Panic began to grow. The children looked around, bewildered. The adult tried to call for help, but in that forest, not even the phone had reception. The rain had started to fall. Hard. They were stuck. It was then that one of the children saw something between the trees. An old path. Half covered with leaves and brambles. They followed him for a few meters, and finally they saw a bridge swaying in the wind. A rope bridge, suspended over a ravine, that no one would ever dare to cross. The boards were rotten, the ropes worn away by time. "It's too dangerous," the adult whispered. "It hasn't held up for years." The group hesitated. The children trembled. The man seemed undecided. It was then that Leo spoke for the first time, and in a firm voice he said, "I'll try." Everyone turned to him. But before anyone could stop him, Leo had already launched himself onto the first board. The children held their breath. The adults shouted, "No! Stop! Go back!" But Leo continued on. And as he took his first steps, the world around him seemed to disappear. Every movement was a balance between courage and emptiness. Below him, the ravine. Ahead, salvation. The ropes shook. The boards creaked. But Leo didn't stop. His heart beat fast for his 7 years. His hands gripped the ropes as if they were life. But then, suddenly a board broke under his feet. A scream came from the mouth of the chaperone and his companions. Leo clung. He hung for a moment. Then slowly he managed to pull himself up. And he continued. When he reached the other bank, he fell to the ground. Wet. Trembling. He looked up at the sky still full of rain. Leo stood up, his knees scraped, his breath short. He looked at the group, and in a voice that seemed bigger than himself he shouted, "I'm going to get help." Then he turned. And he started running as if the world depended on him. Between mud and roots, and trees bent by the wind, he shouted. He was screaming so loudly that his voice seemed to break his throat. Until, far away, someone finally heard him. Help arrived. Fast. And one by one, all the children were rescued. Even the adult. Thanks to him. When the group returned to the orphanage, many of the boys shrugged. Some laughed. A 7-year-old? How could he have crossed that bridge? He can't even lift a bucket, one of the instructors scoffed. Leo didn't say anything. He didn't try to convince anyone. He didn't defend himself. As always, he stayed away. Among them, however, a voice was heard. It was one of the rescuers. The real question isn't how he did it. The real question is, why he did it. No one was there to tell him he couldn't do it, and if no one tells you, you just might do the impossible. Isn't that right, kiddo? And everyone remained silent. That day, Leo did not become a hero, not for everyone. There were no medals, no applause. But inside him, something had changed forever. Now he knew who he was. And that was enough. And over time, others began to really see him too. Not just as little Leo, but like Leo. Strength does not come from the body. It happens when you stop believing anyone who tells you you can't do it. When no one tells you you're too small, too fragile, too little. That's when you discover how strong you really are.